Welcome back, everyone, to the Movies That Make You podcast. This is our creators conversation. This is Alex Armbruster. He is a stunt actor, stunt performer, legend in the game, and we are just so thankful that he decided to join us tonight. How you doing, Alex?
Me. I'm doing great. Doing great. How you guys doing?
Doing good, man.
Yeah, doing very well. Doing very well. One of the things that I like to do when when it kind of gets started is like, what is that made you feel like that this was going to be your life? Like, was it a movie or was it what do you remember the moment? We'd like to kind of hear how you got started in the industry.
It was kind of I wouldn't say like I knew I was going to be a stuntman when I was a kid, but I knew I wanted to be involved in extreme sports and pushing my limits to some capability, you know? So when I was younger, I watched a Disney movie called Brink. I don't know if you've ever seen that before on the Disney Channel. It's like all about rollerblading, you know, doing flips and grinds down, you know, rails and stuff like that. And as soon as I saw that, I was inspired to just throw my skates on that had like plastic wheels or whatever and start jumping around on the street. And it kind of all evolved from there. And I started doing that obsessively. And I got to like a professional level where I would do live shows around the world as well, doing, you know, on like a box jump with a big quarter pipe. And it was a team called the Crazy Crew Stunt Team. And we would travel all around the States. We went over to like India, Saudi Arabia to do shows at like festivals over there and stuff. And that was pretty wild. So that kind of got me into live like performing anyway. And then I met some guys at a skate park one day who happened to be in the film business. We kind of just hit it off, and their dad happened to be a stunt coordinator up in the Toronto area here in Canada. And so we just kind of hit it off. I saw them kind of living these kids were making because they were going to work with like for their dad on movie sets. And they were having just like a really fun time and making good money doing it. So I'm like, hey, I could really see myself doing something like this. Just because rollerblading at the time didn't have, and it still doesn't have much of a, you can't make much of a living from it. So at least not these days. Back in the 90s, you could. Back when it was in the X Games and all that stuff. So this was kind of another route to take where I could push my limits. And in order to do that, though, I had to learn a lot of other skills as well. Obviously, rollerblading was not going to get me, you know, to playing John Carver in Thanksgiving. So I had to learn a lot along the way from all the other stunt performers who have different backgrounds in stunts as well, whether it's like parkour, stunt driving, getting set on fire, you know, all the different types of falls you can do, stair falls, high falls, fights, all the different stuff you need to know as a stunt performer to get to that point. So I've been doing it for about 16 years now, full time. So it's been quite the process.
Yeah, that's epic, man.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been fun.
Yeah, speaking to that, I know maybe not all of these have been throughout that 16 years, or maybe they were spread out, but you have over 143 stunt credits to your name on IMDb, which I looked up a lot of stunt people that are in the business like you yourself, and you have to be second. I think Debbie Evans has the most. She has like 300 or 406, and she's still alive, so she's still counting as well. But yeah, that's very impressive. I mean, 143, and then you have 18 regular acting credits to your name as well.
Yeah,
including your partnership with Eli Roth. We'll get into that towards the end of the interview, but you're going to be in his new Ice Cream Man movie, right?
Yeah, that's going to be pretty cool. That's going to be a wild movie. We filmed that last summer.
Awesome.
Oh, that's going to be. It's his first movie that he's done under his new studio, the horror section.
Yeah.
You know, no one's saying no to anything he wants to do. He can do whatever he wants. So you can imagine. I think it's going to be unrated, so it's going to be pretty wild.
I'm sure.
Yeah, no, I'm really excited to hear that he launched such a cool like project and a company, and he's really, driving the independent thing home to multiple people who might not have had chances before that. So I just
Totally.
think it's so. I mean, Eli's another person who I know has been in the business for a long time, but just had a few big hits here and there, and then that's kept him kind of going. And it's just really cool to see that he's got. I would say I mean, he has some classics, but he's like hitting his stride right now, especially with the launch of this company. And I love I don't know if they'll become real movies or not, but those trailers that he's been making
Yeah.
with like Snoop Dogg and
Yeah.
yeah, there was one where like a guy is
There's the piano
answering
killer.
the piano killer. Yeah. I thought it was real. I was watching it and I thought it was just like one of those real parodies. And then I once I started watching, I was like, this has to be Eli Roth. I mean,
Yeah.
nobody does it like him. So yeah, it made me laugh super hard. So
Yeah. Yeah. I think there's some plans in the works for all that stuff. So
That's
yeah,
awesome,
keep your
man.
eyes peeled for sure.
awesome.
I think it's one of those things too, like kind of looking over like your history and all your credits. Like I've known you for a very long time, since your second TV series.
Yeah.
I remember watching Blue Mountain State when I was younger, and I was like,
Really?
oh
That's
yeah,
funny.
yeah, absolutely, like the
Oh,
TV
it's amazing.
show. So it's kind of crazy. I mean, Flashpoint, Nikita. Like I've seen you all over the place. So it
Yeah.
was really fun over the last couple of weeks when Josh said that we were going to have you on. I was like, man, it's like you can't even kind of like crash course for an episode with you because you've done so much. It's like, how in the world, So, but thankfully, looking over it, I was like, well, I've seen a lot of your stuff, so that's
Yeah,
really cool.
just bits and pieces, Yeah,
Yeah.
especially earlier on, it was just like little, you know, just some character in the background getting killed or whatever.
Yeah,
But hey, it's all fun. It all pays the bills. So
exactly.
it's
And
all good.
at some point, you went from just being a performer to being kind of the stunt coordinator. Is that you've kind of done some of that too now these
Yeah,
days, right?
some of it. I'm kind of in an area in my career right now where I'm kind of deciding where I'm starting to get like a little bit older as a performer. Like I'm 37 right now, and still feeling really good. But it's like, do I want to hit the ground forever, or do I want to start facilitating more so, or do I want to go into the acting realm a little bit more? So I'm kind of
Mm-hmm.
deciding and kind of riding the wave wherever it's taking me right now. I have coordinated a little bit and cover coordinated for a lot of stunt coordinators on bigger shows like Welcome to Derry. I covered for a little bit on that as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then some other like short independent movies and stuff. So I'm kind of just like dipping my toes in that right now. But we'll
Yeah,
see where that goes. Yeah,
for
I might.
sure.
It's a very different job than what I do right now. It's more of you have to have all the knowledge of a stunt performer to be able to do it properly and facilitate all the stunts safely. But you have to have like a real business sense as well. And you're kind of the coordinator between the performers and the rest of the whole production. So you're on your phone a lot. You're on, Zoom meetings and location scouts and all that stuff. So it's a very different job.
For
But
sure. I
and
can.
my kids are young right now too. So it's like I want to be
Mhm.
at home more, and that's the kind of
Sure.
job that would take you away from home for a while. So for
I was
months at a
I was
time too. So
Yeah, I was thinking that kind of looking at even some of your recent credits where you're in an episode of Cross or whatever, and you just pop over, do a stunt, and then you can probably, I guess, come home and all that stuff.
yeah,
And when you kind of become the coordinator, it's like you're there for the long haul. You're there for the whole production, start to finish, probably even pre-production as you're working on the scenes and the big set pieces. And then when you were talking about kind of looking at that crossroads, I think one of the stunt coordinators that comes to mind for me is Chad Stahelski, as he transitioned from being a stunt performer all the way back to the Matrix to then kind of working with Keanu again as a director for the John Wick series and kind of defining a new style of action film. Is the stunt coordinator something that you see in your future, or are you kind of, I guess you're still at that crossroads you said, but
yeah. I mean, like as I said, I kind of dipped my toes in it already, and I kind of know, like, I feel pretty good in that position. I feel pretty natural there. It's just a matter of like, when do I want to fully commit to that?
mhm.
And I think it'll be, yeah, when the kids are like a little bit older. But I'm still like I'm dipping my toes in and keeping the door open for now. Because I don't want to try and like just get that ball rolling later either. Because there's some other, there's competition of course too, and you want to stay in it all. So yeah, right now, what also is keeping me busy is I have a company that rents stunt safety equipment to all the different film productions, and like we had it out on Ice Cream Man, we had it out on Thanksgiving, and all these other movies, and it's a big trailer basically that I rent out, and I drive it myself, and it has all the equipment that a stunt department would need for a film production. And so that's been keeping me pretty busy on the side as well. So I'm kind of enjoying that, and I do stunt safety for that as well. So I'll get, I'll not only provide the equipment, but I'll also I'll move the equipment in, and I'll make sure all the stunts are safe for that day and everything, which is a nice little behind the scenes sort of job too, which I enjoy doing. So
Yeah.
That
yeah,
was actually my next question. Was I was going to talk about stunt safe. I think that's really cool. I don't know how new that company is, but have you got to work on any like giant projects with that company?
So I started it in like that was kind of like my COVID project sort of thing when I had lots of time to figure that out and get it built. And so yeah, I've it's been going like yes, this is the 6th year now,
Okay.
and I've had it out on the first big rental I had was on Violent Night. I don't know if you ever saw
Okay.
that one.
Oh, yeah. We were
Yeah.
just talking about that movie on one of the episodes recently.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I didn't end up working on that movie at all, but I rented all my equipment out to that, and they filmed it out in Winnipeg, which is a solid like 24-hour drive from here. So
Holy
it, it
moly.
was it was I had to drive it out in like 3 days and stay at hotels and all this stuff, and it was driving through Northern Ontario in the middle of January to get it out there, which was like I had never done that before,
Yeah.
and I got really lucky with weather. I found out because it was pretty mountainous around Lake Superior, and it was pretty wild. But we got it there, and that helped get the ball rolling for the company. That was the first big rental, and then after that, it just kept coming in and paid itself off really quick, and like yeah, it's gone really well. It's been out on Thanksgiving, Ice Cream Man, what else? Frost. I
Okay.
mean,
Yeah.
there's a ton. If you look on the Instagram, there's a bunch. I usually post whatever it's on. I've signed contracts with like Universal and all these big film studios, so it's like pretty crazy because I just came up with this idea like in my shower, and all of a sudden I'm signing these contracts with like Universal and stuff. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Man.
turn a passion into a project which turns into a moneymaker. Like that's awesome.
Exactly.
That's
Yeah,
good, man.
just
That's
keeps you
awesome.
busy when you're not on set because like you never really know when you're working. Like it's just contract work whenever things come up. So you try to keep yourself busy. You know.
Yeah. Kind of have that
Uh,
steady kind of hopefully trickle of income while you're kind of waiting between contract gigs. So I can see
Exactly.
that.
And it can
Yeah.
act as a bit of a passive income sort of thing too. If you can rent it out and like drop it off on a film set, and then you can go perform on another film
hmm
set,
hmm
you can double dip a little bit, which is nice.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, in your 16 years of doing stunt work, I'm sure it would be hard to say what your favorite stunt was, but do you have a couple that stand out to you as being like, I can't believe I got to do that? Is there anything
Yeah.
that stands out?
Have you guys watched The Boys at all?
But
Yes.
yeah, love
Yeah.
that show.
So I worked on that show like pretty extensively, and a lot of really fun stunts in that one. I was doubling the termite character in
Okay.
season 3, episode 1.
Yeah, that's so funny.
That was funny. That was my first naked stunt I ever had to do, like
Oh man, yeah.
fully naked, and yeah, and the actor was naked too. We were all naked.
Yeah,
Everyone
yeah,
was
yeah.
pretty desensitized to
Everybody's
it by the end of
comfortable.
it. Yeah, it really didn't. Yeah, it didn't matter. Like we were covered in blood and stuff, and I had to just like jump off of like a mini tramp and do like this big like Superman jump sort of thing into this blue screen. And that was where he was running and jumping, trying to jump in Frenchie's mouth. And then he gets caught by the bag of cocaine from Butcher. And then he shakes him up.
Yeah.
So then we had to do the whole thing like inside the bag. And the way that we did that was on a trampoline. They rigged up some vapor barrier that looked like the Ziploc bag, and they put some potato starch in there. And we just had to get in there and start jumping around. They threw the actor Brett in there first. We had never rehearsed this, by the way, before this. And we thought it'd be, it's just the easiest potato starch. But he starts jumping around, and the potato starch is so light and airy that you breathe it in and you start suffocating on it. And so he starts like, coughing and stuff. And they're like, okay, well, let's get Brett out of there. And Alex, we need another run from you. And so I go in there, I do a few more flips and make it a little more dynamic or whatever. And I start suffocating too, because I'm human.
Yeah.
So that was a pretty fun one, just because of the uniqueness of it. Another one on the show was in the Herogasm episode. There's a scene where I'm walking across frame with my crotch on fire, and that was all very practical. We did it for real, and
holy moly.
yeah, we had to figure out how to do that one safely, because I had never seen anyone do that before.
Yeah.
In another movie. So that was
So you're the first.
interesting.
You're the first. That's how we're going to tout this on YouTube. The first ever, crotch on fire stunt.
Well, actually, I had a follow-up question to talking about, what your favorite stunts were. Have you, besides the crotch one you just talked about, have you introduced any new techniques for stunt performers in general, or stunt teams that have been incorporated in other films and television?
New techniques.
Like new techniques, or have you invented anything that, like, besides your company? I'm sure you have certain little things that help out to make it safer, but have you like invented any new ways or processes to perform stunts safely and accurately?
I wouldn't say I really have invented anything. No, like I'm very lucky at the point that I got into the career. A lot of the innovation, kind of like with all the practical stuff that we do, at least has been kind of set really, really nicely with all the wire work and everything. And everything these days too is like it's a lot safer, I think, than it used to be. Like there's a lot more mats and with, like, let's say you were doing like a roof gap, like roof to roof or something super high up. Now it would be at the very most, it would be with a crane and a wire attached to you. Whereas back in the day, it would have been more practical, and you'd have maybe like an airbag or a box rig as safety in between the buildings down below. So if you fall, you got something. But it's and they would either do that, or they would be in a studio, and it would be like even in a more controlled situation. So no, I haven't been in a position where I've had to like really innovate or change something, I would say. So yeah, very lucky from that standpoint.
Yeah,
but.
No, that's a good thing. But I just didn't know if maybe you had like even mentioned like an idea on set, and they were like, "Oh, let's try that out," and it kind of just worked out better that way.
I mean, I'll definitely throw suggestions out there for certain scenes. If something's going to work better or work in a safer way, and give a better result, like I'll definitely speak up and say something. I'm trying to think of an example, but yeah.
Well, the example that comes to mind for me about the rooftop jump is Jackie Chan in Rumble in the Bronx, when he just jumped across and landed in the fire escape and broke his foot. It's like, I don't remember seeing any bags below or any
Tom Cruise
rigging.
Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible, and he kept going. He broke his leg. Yeah,
and that was with a wire too. So
that's
even with a wire, like that can still happen.
Yeah.
There's a level of realism and authenticity that he's trying to go for, and so he's saying, "Just catch me if I fall." You can imagine. Listen, Tom Cruise. I remember with one stunt guy, a safety guy. I'm sure you've heard the story, but when he was on the tall building in Dubai, and they said,
protocol.
He said he wanted to climb on the outside of the building, and the safety guy said, "No, we can't." And so he said, "So I got a new safety guy."
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure that kind of like makes your heart flutter a little bit, I bet, right?
Yeah. Things like that happen. Every coordinator has a different appetite for risk and different ideas on how to do certain things. So yeah, things can get changed around a little bit.
Yeah. I was kind of just looking through a little bit of your stunt work. You also have done some mocap, I guess, for some video games because I see Watchdog Legions on here.
Yes.
Which I was just talking about that with a friend of mine about how I really enjoyed the Watchdogs idea and the concept of the video game. What was it like kind of working in that space?
That was pretty cool. I've done that a few times. All the mocap is like pretty similar. I find like you're doing different things, but it's in the same space. So it always feels very familiar to me whenever I go in there, no matter what game I'm working on. But I've done like Assassin's Creed, Black Flag. So that was like a little more like swords and stuff like that. And then Watch Dogs and all that. There was like some more guns involved. I remember I had to do they had all these different guns and like rocket launchers and everything, and I had to go through them, and it was kind of, I think it was for like the where you're picking out the weapon. I was like the guy like picking up the gun or whatever, like just doing that. So
It's
I
kind of
had to go
boring.
through all the guns and do that.
Yeah,
So it's a little, it can be like a little bit like repetitive for some
yeah,
of that stuff, but it's pretty fun.
yeah.
Um, and then we had to like jump out of like some helicopters and do some stuff for like the story mode, when
Hmm.
they're showing all that stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a good time. You're wearing like the suits with the all the reflective balls all over you. But it's always nice doing mocap because you can use all the mats and things you want because you don't see it. So
Hmm.
all the big throws that you do or whatever, it doesn't have to be on the ground, which is nice. So it's
Yeah.
a cushy day, and it's usually capped at 8 hours too, which is nice. You don't
Yeah.
go into like the 12 or 14 hour days,
Yeah.
so it's always nice. Yep.
That's
Maybe you'll
awesome.
get a Thanksgiving game since they're doing a new Halloween game, and Nick
That'd be cool.
Castle's is doing the mocap for Mike, and I know
Okay.
Kane Hodder did the Jason one, the Friday the 13th game, so maybe they'll do a Thanksgiving
Tell,
game. That'd be fun.
tell
That would be
Eli.
really cool.
Tell
That's an
Eli it's
idea. And
time. Yeah.
I remember when it was first coming out, they did something on Instagram for it was like what was it called? I forget what it was called, but it was you're trying to run away from John Carver basically, and he's trying to catch you.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was just this
It's
kind
like
of
an
like
augmented reality type thing.
yeah, exactly. Um, it's just like a little like a trial game or something for Instagram,
Hmm.
but it was
That's cool.
fun. I was playing it for a bit.
Yeah.
But
Nice. I'm
that'd
sure.
be a good idea.
Yeah. No,
Well,
yeah,
it's
that
crazy. One of the things that's crazy is when I think of John Carver because of that mask. So it kind of reminds me of like the Burger King face and mask.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't
Yeah.
know if you either of you remember this, but they came out with 3 video games that were like $10
Right.
each, and one of them
Yeah.
was like a Assassin's Creed game where you had to sneak around and get like the instead of a stealth kill, it was a stealth like give them food.
Yeah.
And so, so it's
Wasn't
just
one of them was like a race car
yeah, it was like
game, but
Mario
you were like
Kart, but
the
it was
Burger
you
King guy.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So,
That's cool.
but yeah, that would be pretty amazing to see John Carver out there, in a
Yeah.
video game. Uh,
Yeah. They've
Super
they've
gory.
they've done a really good job with all the merchandising and stuff. There's a ton of action figures already.
Oh, beautiful figures. They're
Yeah.
yeah.
I
I
have
have
one. It's over here actually. Yeah. I have a whole bunch of
some
them.
of our friends who we've had on the show before, they collect NECA figures like pretty heavily.
Yeah.
So they're gonna be stoked to watch this interview because like they actually we did a Spring and I did a live watch. We try to do a live watch of a movie like once a month at least, where people can just hang out and watch a movie. Not on the television obviously because copyright, but we did one for Thanksgiving. On Thanksgiving, we kind of just threw it together, but we had a few buddies who collect NECA figures that were in on that one, and they
Nice.
love Thanksgiving so much. It's
That's awesome.
I was gonna save this for the end, but since we're talking about Thanksgiving, we might as well just talk about it now.
Yeah.
So how first off, Thanksgiving is awesome. It was kind of refreshing. I mean, not only because we don't really have any horror movies set around Thanksgiving or Black Friday. I mean, there's some thrown in here and there, but this is just full on around Thanksgiving, which is so cool. And
Yeah.
then obviously the look of John Carver is just so cool. I mean, all your I go to a lot of conventions. I see like your 8x10s at certain booths that of John Carver that are so like the pictures are just so good. They're well made and they look really
Yeah.
cool. So
Awesome.
Did you contribute anything to like the how John Carver was supposed to look, or did Eli just kind of tell
No,
you that he wanted you to do more of the motion stuff?
Eli, he had the whole look and whole idea for the character before I even knew him really. The way I got the job for that was I was hired as the double for Patrick Dempsey, and I actually went and kind of sought out that job, which is kind of funny. I was just, I typically research what's coming into town and what's filming and stuff. I know all the stunt coordinators in town. I found out it was my buddy Dan Skeen who was coordinating it. So I said, "Hey, I'm Dempsey's sizes. I hear he's going to be leading the movie." I didn't know he would, be the spoiler alert. I didn't know he would be John Carver. um, I just knew I was the sizes, and I said, "Hey, if you need a double for him, I'd love to do it." And he said, "Yeah, actually, I need a double. Do you want the job?" It's like, and I'm like, "Yeah, sweet."
Yeah.
And so then I showed up on set. I didn't know anything about Thanksgiving in the fake trailer or anything. We were filming the parade scene. I was there for that, and that's when I watched the fake trailer for the first time while they were doing that, and I kind of found out what the whole deal was. And because as a stunt performer, you don't see the entire script beforehand, like an actor would. You just kind of get the daily sides for the day, they call them, just the script for that day. And so I just would only get little snippets of what was happening, and I have to kind of figure it out and ask people. And anyway, the one day I showed up on set, and I was expecting to dress as, the Sheriff Newland in the movie, and then it said, "Oh, they want me dressing as the Pilgrim," they called it on the movie before they called him John Carver. So I dressed up as that, and I figured out, oh, I'm going to set, and Patrick's not going to be there. Eli wanted me to do the whole day, which was ended up being the diner kill for Lizzie
Oh,
the waitress.
awesome.
That was the first
Mhm.
time I was in the costume, and that was like a whole night shoot. And we did the car crash into the dumpster. We did all that at like 5 a.m. And so that was a big day, and I didn't know I was going to be kind of carrying that whole day on my own. I thought it would be Dempsey popping in, and then I'd do the action bits kind of like I normally do, but it was just me there doing everything. And that was a lot of work, but it went very well. Eli was very happy with everything that I did in terms of the movement for John Carver, and that was kind of our first test to see how that would go. And he was really happy with that, so he kept asking me to come back and do more of that. So I ended up doing about 80% of the acting really for John Carver, which was cool.
And to
What was
piggyback
your
off that, did you I know I heard in a couple of interviews when the movie came out, Eli said he had multiple people in the John Carver suit to kind of throw people off so they couldn't be like, "Oh, they walk like this person," or
Yeah,
was that all Eli's idea, or did you kind of like mention something that like contributed to him using that idea?
no, that was his idea for sure. Because I remember Dan, the stunt coordinator, telling me that Eli wanted different people in there. So we had another stunt performer, a good friend of mine named Jeff Meach. He also was in the costume a little bit for the high school scene. So that was split between him and Patrick, and then Thomas Lorber, he came in for some second unit shots. Basically, they had to come back and do some additional scenes. We originally shot in March and April of 2023, and then they had to come back in August, and we shot the whole chase scene between John Carver and Kathleen. That was not originally in the movie, so that was completely added. So we did all that, and while we were doing that, there were some other second unit shots going on, and they needed John Carver for that. So we used Thomas Lorber to do some of those shots where he broke through the one wall and he was like slashing at Scuba and Jessica with the axe. So that was him doing that, and a couple other little insert shots and stuff too. So, yep.
And
There was a lot going on.
one last thing on Thanksgiving, and then I'll throw the next question to Spring. But the fans have obviously really grabbed hold of this film and just embraced it so much. I see a lot of people. You repost some of their pictures and stuff. The fandom is really cool. Like people cosplaying as John Carver and stuff. I'm sure that's just such a cool feeling to see that.
Yeah.
Are you? I'm assuming. Will you be back for part 2, or can you say? Or
I will say it's looking good. I don't know when it's supposed to be. The last I heard, it was sometime in the spring. And it was also, it was supposed to be started a long time ago and be done already.
right?
But cast availability got hard to deal with, and everything got pushed. And I
Sure.
think there was some back and forth on budget and things like that too. So
I know Eli came out. I don't know how recent. It was a couple months ago, I think, and he had an update on it and just basically said he's working on it, but there's nothing is like finalized just yet. He's still working some stuff out. So hopefully that will get off the ground, because I know the myself included, all of us fans really can't wait for a second one. So
yeah, we all want to do it. Everyone involved. I've been talking to some other of the cast members too, and of the potential ones to come back. And yeah, we're all very excited to do it. So hopefully this spring, that would be great.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What I do have one last question for Thanksgiving is, did you have any sort of inspiration for how you wanted John Carver to move? Was it all Alex, or did you kind of have an idea in your head of how you wanted to present the movement?
Yeah, I didn't have much direction on how to move, actually. So I had to figure that out on my own. And I was just trying to think of, like, well, it's Patrick, right? So he's a police officer. So he's going to be somewhat tactical and very well. Every movement should be pretty well thought out. He's pretty good with weapons. He shouldn't be too like fumbly or anything. No clumsy movements. Everything's very smooth. And I was trying to make it almost like assassin like in some of the scenes, like the one where I did the beheading of Tim Dillon. I was trying to be really smooth with that one, and that was really fun. But I was just trying to think of, like, what would, if I was watching the movie, what would freak me out, if someone was chasing me in this costume. So I'm just trying to think of that and kind of zoom out a little bit when I'm in the mask. I mean, obviously you can't have any emotion on your face, so everything's like very subtle, just like the little tip of your head and things like that. And Eli did help me a little bit with stuff like that and timing. Because like, yeah, the element of like surprise and to scare the audience, it's all timing, similar to like comedy or something like that. So it's so he was very helpful with that as well, and he edited it the way he wanted to, and with the music, it all helps. So
yeah.
But I was just trying to make it as creepy as possible.
Yeah. It's great. A great performance. Yeah.
Thank you.
It is great. And I think honestly, like, it's, for me, I grew up, when I was like in high school, Scream came out, and that was kind of like a comeback of like the slasher film. And I know we've had certain characters that have stood the test of time. And I really do honestly feel like that John Carver is going to be one of those guys. I think that it hit just the right notes of kind of fun, and kind of like Scream did back then. It's like there's enough lightheartedness to it that it's fun to watch, and then it's got all the kills and the slasher stuff that you like as a horror fan, and it's a character that you can just do forever, right? Like, we got Nick Hassel coming back and playing Jason in the video, or Michael Myers in a video game. Like,
yeah,
John Carver feels like he's in the talks of being one of those kind of staple icons of horror. So I'm excited for you, and I really hope you get to do it forever.
Thank you.
Well, and Dempsey was in Scream as well, so
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So
yeah,
you got ties to both.
Yeah,
totally. Yeah, I would love to do it as long as possible, for sure.
Yeah.
So
so kind of moving away from Thanksgiving a little bit, kind of looking ahead, are there any, I know you've already done some cool stuff with superheroes, and you've done obviously all these other cool things. You've worked with Guillermo del Toro and Frankenstein. You've done so many different things. Are there any directors or franchises that you'd like to do that you haven't been able to do yet?
It'd be really cool to be involved in like a Star Wars or a James Bond or something like that. The only thing is that typically they film this stuff in like the UK. So I'd have to get over there and do that, which I don't know how realistic that is for me at this point with the kids and everything like that.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Maybe at some point. But I've done like some Star Trek and stuff, so that was all really cool. Got to go on like the Enterprise on the bridge, and that was
That's
pretty
amazing.
neat because as a kid I would be watching that. My mom would have it on TV, and so that was like pretty surreal. What else? Like, yeah, the superhero stuff was all really cool. When we were doing, like, I was doubling Diablo and Suicide Squad, and I doubled the superhero Pedro in Shazam. So I got to wear the cape and the big green muscle suit, and that was really, really cool. That was definitely a career highlight for sure, because that was right in the height of like when Avengers was all coming out and like superheroes were the thing. So that was like really, really fun and special to be part of like a superhero movie at that point in time. So yeah, that was pretty neat. I would go to work and I would be like listening to like superhero theme songs, just like getting in the zone. It was really fun.
It's that childlike feeling that we have when we're kids and we pretend to be superheroes, and then you listen, you put your song on and it gets you all energetic. Even in my teenage years, it was like my favorite comic book hero is Batman. I mean, it's cliche, but Batman was my first word when I was 1. I used to wake up and watch the Adam West '60s series, and so like Batman's just always been that fun hero that you like. Everybody wants to play Batman. It's pretty cool. But is there a comic book or a superhero that you would like to play in a movie?
Ooh,
I know there's a lot of options, but
if they ever did another take at Green Lantern, I wouldn't mind that.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
Yeah, I've always been a Green Lantern fan. And I actually didn't mind the first one, to be honest. It gets a lot of flack, but I actually didn't mind.
The effects were really cool. I remember seeing it in the theater, and the visuals were, I mean, at that time especially, like we were kind of spoiled with visual effects, and I think everybody just ignored the fact that it looked really cool. So, but yeah, Greenland. Maybe you can get in. We'll see if it gets a second season, but they're about to put the Green Lantern Corps TV show on Max pretty soon.
Okay.
So maybe you can shoot for that. That'd be cool.
Yeah. You never know. You never know. And if that's on HBO, you said HBO Max.
Yeah, it'll be part of James Gunn's like. I don't know if it'll be in the Superman universe that he's building and his DC universe, but I'm pretty sure it will be. And I forget who's starring it, because they're gonna have two of the main Lanterns, John Stewart and I'm drawing a blank.
Hal Jordan.
Yeah,
an
so
older,
they're gonna have
older Hal Jordan. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's what is that actor's name? Who's playing Kyle
Chandler?
Chandler. He's playing Hal Jordan. And then the actor they cast for John Stewart is a really great casting. He looks just like him, so it's pretty cool. But yeah, maybe you can get on to that show. That'd be cool.
Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be really fun. Yeah, we'll see. And I would love to be on anything that like Steven Spielberg is part of, like something like that. Yeah. Something that's really good and really stands the test of time. Something with some good theme song, that like stays in your head. Like,
sure,
I don't know, just like a classic good movie.
Yeah.
And I've done a lot of content, I guess, and I just want to really do the quality projects at this point. That would be nice.
Yeah, for sure. I know you're doing done some stuff on the Copenhagen test, at least one episode. We actually I met Melissa Barrera at a con a couple years ago. and she was super nice. Did you have any interactions with any of the main cast? Like, I
Yeah.
know, yeah,
Yep.
and I'm sure they were
The
awesome
first time I
with it.
met Melissa was at it was Spookala at the time. Now it's Scaradise.
Nice. Yeah.
Changed it. Yeah. In Florida. She was very nice. And I did run into her on the Copenhagen test quite a bit. We had some scenes together, and I had some with Simu as well, where there's some shooting that happened, and we had a lot of good times for sure.
That's good.
Really fun show to work on. Yeah.
It's awesome. I definitely want to check it out. My wife and I, we kind of on a kind of a schedule, you know. It's hard to get new shows into the, because
Yeah.
we're watching some old shows, and then it's like we've got this show we got to watch, and then, you know, it's too many shows. There's too many good stuff out there, but Copenhagen's definitely on the list for sure.
Yeah. I haven't seen it yet, but it's on the list too.
Yeah.
It's hard to
Yeah,
stay up with it.
when you have two little ones, it gets tougher and tougher to like catch up. I mean, doing this podcast full time now, we prep people every Monday for movies that are coming out in the theaters, and we watch a lot of movies. So like a lot of them I've seen already, but there's some newer ones that I'm like trying to catch up on, and I'm like, man, my son sometimes he doesn't go to bed till 10 o'clock, and then I'm like, oh, I should go to bed. So it's tough.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yep.
Sure.
By the end of the day, I'm pretty wiped, so don't have much energy to watch anything. I'll usually fall asleep through something.
Yeah.
And you've worked with Del Toro a few times, including Frankenstein. Congrats on the 9 Oscar nominations. That's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
Are you? Did you get an invite to the Oscars?
No, I wish. That would be really cool. Maybe once there's, stunts involved, which I think is next year.
I think
next
they
year.
definitely should already be like there should be a stunt category. I mean,
Yeah. I think
it's insane that there's not.
2027 is like the first year they're doing best stunt design, I think is the title of it. So yeah, next year you'll start seeing some.
What was it like? I mean, obviously Del Toro's sets are just gorgeous, but what was it like, especially for something huge like a passion project of Del Toro's Frankenstein? I mean, that it doesn't get much bigger than that.
I've been on a few of his sets, and they're usually pretty epic, and everything's very practical. There's not a lot of CG or anything like that. So everything's always really cool. But this one in particular was awesome because that big pirate ship that you saw there, that was a full-size practical ship that they built on a hydraulic gimbal that moved back and forth. And we spent 2 months rehearsing that initial scene we see with all the sailors in that. Long time doing that just for like a couple minutes on screen. It was crazy.
Right.
It looks awesome though.
Yeah, it turned out really well. So we rehearsed it for a couple months, and then we shot that in like 5 or 6 nights. That whole thing. So that was pretty cool. Every stunt performer kind of had their unique stunt gag that they did as the creatures walking through them. And I was the second one on the lower level, not on the ship. We called it the rainbow throw. And so he just grabbed me, just, big, huge throw, right, and slammed down on the ground. And it was a good hard hit. And I was on wires, and I had like 4 different wires on me. So it was a bit tricky because I had to make sure when he threw me, I didn't get my legs caught as he flipped me over. And if they did catch on the wire, then I ended up being stuck pretty much right upside down, which isn't good because I would have landed like right on my neck all awkwardly. So the pressure was to get it dialed in right away.
Sure.
But it all worked out really well. So
yeah.
But it was really fun.
Was that the only scene in the movie that you worked heavily on, or were you in any other like throwaway scenes that were in the movie?
That was it for me. But believe it or not, that took a lot of time.
It sounds like it. Yeah.
Yeah. Just because we were all part of the team, and everyone for the entire scene, from like the bottom of the ship up to the top of the ship, we rehearsed all of that stuff and how it would all function. And we filmed a big previs for it too, which is like short for pre-visualization. And we basically shot it shot for shot, like that part of the scene,
Mm-hmm.
just because we knew it would look good already on camera. So yeah, that was a really cool scene. But it was yeah, we were all kind of there for each other, helping each other with our own gags and helping each other figure it out. So
I know it's probably a lot of hard work and blood, sweat, and tears, but yeah, that's awesome
yeah,
that it came together. But yeah, that's really
yeah,
cool. Del Toro, he just has a thing with how his movies look all the time, so I can only imagine being on set and like actually seeing the sets come to life. So that's really
yeah.
cool.
Very, very like particular director, knows exactly what he wants. He filmed with the whole thing with one camera on a crane, I think, for most of the time.
Wow.
Yeah. So usually you get like multiple angles and all this stuff, but he knows already what he wants. It's already in his head, so he doesn't need all these multiple angles. He just makes it all work with one camera.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
So
that was a
crazy.
unique thing that I've never seen really before.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Well, one other question I have, kind of looking at what you have coming out, Ready or Not 2, you're going to be in that one. You're the double for Nestor. Anything you can tell us from the set of that?
We're
oh
very
man,
excited for that one.
that's gonna
Yeah.
be pretty cool. Is I saw the first one and that was a pretty good movie. I really enjoyed it actually. Um, Man, yeah, there's a lot of cool people in that one, and the second one that we filmed, like Elijah Woods in there. That was pretty cool to meet him. Very nice guy. What can I say? I probably can't say much about it to be honest, but it was a really
Sure.
good time. Hey, and I also rented my math out to that one too, so
Okay.
that
Nice.
was good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're gonna have a prep episode for Ready or Not 2. So we'll be talking about the first one and some other like home invasion movies that are awesome. So can't wait
Okay.
for that one. It'll be cool on the big screen for sure. Maybe Elijah
Speaking of,
will get you into the new Lord. They're doing another Lord of the Rings movie with him and
that'd be cool.
Ian are returning. Maybe you can come back
Yeah.
and be in. You
The
can be
Hunt
in
for
there.
Gollum, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
never know.
yeah,
That would be a really cool one. I love those movies. So
yeah.
yeah, that would be really neat. I noticed you have a Back to the Future poster behind you. That's also
Yes,
one of my
sir.
favorite movies. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, so I used to work at a video store. My love for movies kind of started. I lived in Colorado for 16 years and just I was around movies all the time, talk movies all day with customers and employees and went to the movies, rented the new movies that came out, anything used in the store we could rent. So like I was just constantly taking in, media all the time. And I was working there when they had the actual Back to the Future day, like from the movie. What was that?
Yeah. 2015.
16
Yeah.
or yeah. So
2015. Yeah.
I was the manager of the store, so I convinced our boss to order all this cool like retro Pepsi bottles they put out.
nice.
Anybody who dressed up as a character got a free used movie when they came in. I dressed up as Marty, obviously,
Yeah,
and it was just so much fun. And then 2 years ago, I flew out to LA Comic Con. My cousins live out there, and I got to meet Michael J. Fox, Christopher Lloyd, Leah Thompson, and Tom Wilson. And I had
cool.
I ran into Tom Wilson a long time ago in Colorado at Bass Pro Shop, believe it or not.
Really?
And
Wow.
yeah, he was doing stand up comedy at the time, and he got out of a cab and we were doing family photos out front of Bass Pro Shop. They had like cars set up, and I'm really good with faces. And I mean, he's a little bit older, slick back, gray hair. And the guy got out of the cab, and I told my parents. My parents thought I was nuts, and I was like, "That was Biff from Back to the Future," and they're like, "No, it wasn't." So I ran in the store, and my brother and I ran in. I couldn't find him, and he was up near like the fishing section, and he was kind of looking over shelves because like back then he didn't really appreciate he was kind of annoyed with the fandom and stuff just because it was overwhelming, but now he loves it and goes to cons and stuff. So
Okay.
I got a picture with him, and then when I met him in LA, I showed him the picture. This was probably like 10 years apart, and I was like, I met you years, and he was like, yep, that's me, and he was super nice. But Back to the Future for me is that's a film that like kind of I tell people all the time, if I wouldn't have watched Back to the Future at a young age, I probably would still love movies, but it kind of like was the first movie that opened my imagination to whatever films could be. And that's a huge motivation for this podcast too, because like it's the movies that make you. So, like
Yeah.
Back to the Future is one I always circle back to because I also love it to death. So
Yeah, yeah. I always watched it multiple times a year with my mom in particular. And
nice,
yeah, it's one of those movies you can just recite all the lines from. And
right?
I it's like one of those that like Marty McFly's character is like a character that I like really related to, and I could like see myself as that character, like skateboarding and sketching behind cars and like playing
Yeah.
guitar and like trying to get the girls and all that stuff. Like that's pretty awesome. And yeah, like I love everything about those movies. So I got to work with Christopher Lloyd in the movie Nobody, so that was
Oh,
really
Okay,
cool.
nice.
that's an
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
awesome movie.
yeah.
Yeah, so fun.
Yeah, I got to get shot by him, and yeah, he shot me with a shotgun. Just shot me in the movie. It was awesome. And
That's so cool.
in between takes, he was just like chilling over on the
Hmm.
side of the set or whatever. So I just went over and started talking to him, and got a picture with him and stuff. And just yeah, man, I'm just like biggest fan. So,
That's
but he
really
was very
cool.
nice and like super down to take photos and stuff. So it
Yeah,
was
Yeah.
cool.
it's crazy how, I mean, at the convention that I went to, I mean, I only went Friday, and Friday was mostly like Back to the Future people. Rosario Dawson was there. She was pretty big. But then the rest of the weekend was like Star Wars people like Hayden Christensen, Ian McGregor. So it was like bigger people. And I was just in town to meet the Back to the Future people. And I mean, Christopher Lloyd's line was massive, and he takes his time. I mean, I don't know how he does it, and goes to photo shoots and then comes back and then sign. I mean, it has to be exhausting. So I think he's just appreciative. And now that he's getting even older, I think he just lives
Yeah.
for that stuff because the fans keep him young. So that's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
I think he was 85 when I worked with him. So yeah, he's got to be 90 almost now. But
Yeah.
so
That's really cool though. I mean, what a surreal moment like in time. That's pretty cool.
yeah, yeah, it's pretty cool. It's a
It's
it's a
kind of
pretty crazy industry that like, you get those like pinch me moments pretty
Sure.
frequently. So, yeah,
well,
it's
as someone that's kind of you've been like we talked about a few times, been in the industry 16 years, so many credits, so many different sets, so many different people, and you've obviously you're making an impact in the sense that like you're doing things like you said, the big rainbow throw in Frankenstein. That's memorable. People watch that movie, they remember that moment.
right.
And so I think that there's a sense where you're already kind of making an impact, but there's also that sense where you see in Christopher Lloyd like how he's made an impact on you. And his I think he's seeing that lasting legacy is like investing in those kids.
Yeah.
So my last question for you is, if there's someone out there that's watching this and listening right now, and they're trying to figure out, like they know that they want to do something with their life, what would you suggest for them, whether it's the industry or not? Like what's something that you would tell a young person who's trying to figure out things like what they want to do with their life? Do you have anything you could share with them?
Yeah, just do what makes you happy. Life is so short. Just like find what you like to do and find a way to make money doing that thing, you know? And ideally you have a little bit of finding a way of having balance with that so you don't like overdo it and kind of burn yourself out and to a point where it's not fun anymore, because it's life is all about balance, um but yeah, just do what you love. Life is so short. So that's what I would say. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Awesome,
and
man.
follow your dreams. Like
Yeah.
do if there's something you want to do in your life, just go do it. Like what's the risk in doing that, You got to go for it. So,
Absolutely. That's
yeah.
awesome. Well, I think Josh has some final speed
Yeah, I was
round
just gonna
questions that yeah.
fire off a couple random just rapid questions. So, is there you kind of touched on this earlier, but is there a property or a character that you would love to either portray or like help in adapting it, making it come to life on screen?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about Green Lantern, but like, let's say they ever, and I don't think they will, but let's say they ever like extended the Back to the Future universe. Maybe that would be kind of cool to
Yeah.
delve into that a little bit. I mean, it's
Yeah,
perfect. It's perfect the way it is,
Something's got to
but
be done
it
about
is.
your brother, Marty.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah.
That's great.
I would love to do something with that, but
Yeah,
That'd be cool.
it would get a lot of flack. It would have to be done by the right person, and
right.
they have to really take their time with it.
Yeah,
I
for sure.
think Zemeckis and that team some people from that team would have to be on board to really do it justice. I think you'd have to get everybody's blessing, but I think that'd be cool. That's a good one.
And Spielberg was a producer on that too, so it's
Right.
like
Right. Yeah, and then you
that's the
get to work
cool.
with Spielberg. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, that would be
Okay.
cool.
This is this is a question that gets asked to people a lot, but you're stranded on a desert island and you only have one movie that you have to watch the entire time you're stranded on that island. What movie is that?
Boy.
Maybe Back to the Future,
Um.
I guess.
Well, that's an easy answer. I could go with that route. um. You know what? I'm gonna go with. I really enjoyed also, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, another Steven
Oh,
Spielberg movie.
nice.
Yeah,
Great movie.
yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
Good
yeah. I'd
choice.
go with that.
Yeah, really. Another Spielberg tie. We got to
They're
put
the
this
best
out in the
movies.
universe. We got to get Alex.
Yeah,
If anyone's watching that works for Spielberg, Alex, he
Yeah,
wants to
yeah.
work with Spielberg. Let's make it happen.
yeah, yeah.
And then
Just,
final question: if you could have coffee or a drink with anybody, living or dead, that's passed away, who would you want to share a drink with?
boy. I mean, okay. There would be like some family members, for example, that I would pick over anyone else first.
Sure.
If we wanted to get, um, let's say like a celebrity or something, I would say, like Robin Williams would be really cool to sit down and have a cup of coffee with. I loved everything he's ever done, whether it's dramatic or comedic or whatever. He's always been amazing, and I wish he was still around to work with him. That would be really cool. Jim Carrey would be another one I would love to
Ooh,
sit down with. He
nice.
seems like a very interesting person.
Right.
Um,
Especially now, like he's kind of at this point,
Spiritual.
he's really, yeah, really
yeah,
kind of
Yeah.
ahead, like he's trying to keep his head above the Hollywoodness of it
yes,
and just
Yeah.
like be a grounded person
yeah,
and
I love that.
recognizing. Yeah, it's great.
I
It's
feel
great.
like you guys have a similar look and style too, so like I think you would pair up really well, like working either specifically with him or even just like in a scene. Yeah, actually, you kind of look like his the henchman in Sonic,
Oh
the
yeah,
Yeah,
main
with the
yeah.
guy in
mustache.
Sonic.
When
So
you get the beard,
maybe
yeah, yeah,
maybe you can be the side guy with
yeah,
Jim Carrey in the
Yeah,
Sonic 4.
that'd be cool.
Yeah.
yeah. Or
Yeah,
me, myself, and Irene, the sequel. I don't know.
Yeah, I
yeah,
That one came to that
man,
one came to
that
mind the
would
other day. I was
require a
like,
lot
man,
of
that one's
stunts. Yeah.
yeah,
yeah.
that's
Oh yeah.
ridiculous. Yeah, it's great. It's great. You said Robin Williams. We actually did a episode a while back for Robin Williams. My brother-in-law came on and we tried to we tried to talk through as many of the movies as we could, and we got through a lot of them. And then there are a few that I hadn't seen, and there are a few that he hadn't seen that we wanted to watch. I actually had not seen at that point Good Morning Vietnam, and so being
Right.
able to watch that was like, really powerful because it was like, even though it was still early in his career and he still had a lot of comedy in it, he was still showing you little glimpses of his dramatic chops and the
Oh, yeah.
heart that he had as a performer.
Yeah.
That was really powerful. And then the one I kind of brought that he hadn't seen was 1 Hour Photo, which is a completely different end of the spectrum,
Yeah, I saw that one.
like
Great
way
film.
beyond anything he'd ever done before. And it was kind of like showed a different side of him. But yeah,
Yeah.
he's great. I'm glad you mentioned him. He is amazing. Amazing.
Another one that no one really watches anymore, I feel like, is Bicentennial Man. That was a good
Well,
movie.
yeah.
That's a really good one. Yeah.
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 Absolutely. Absolutely.
We just watched Mrs. Doubtfire, of course, the other night with the kids.
Yeah.
They loved it.
I
That's
did too. I
awesome.
threw it on just because, like, when it hits streaming again, I own it, but like, I don't know where it is in my physical media. So when it's on streaming, I gotta throw it on. Plus, my son's autistic. He loves music, so that beginning scene where he's doing the Figaro, Figaro, like my son
Yeah.
loves that scene
So
so
funny.
much because it's just so
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
All right.
Totally.
So when I hear Mrs. Doubtfire, there's one line that always pops into my head.
Okay.
So, but I'm not going to say mine. I want you to say yours. What's your one?
Okay,
Your
I'll
one
say
quote.
mine. Oh, I'm melting like a snow cone in Phoenix.
Nice.
That's a good one. I
Josh,
thought you were
what's
gonna
yours?
go with. I thought you were gonna go with. It was a run by fruiting.
That's a
That
good
one's
one
mine.
too.
That one's mine. And then Pierce Brosnan looking around and like getting
Yeah.
all Pierce Brosnan-y.
And I mean the cast: Pierce Brosnan, Sally Field as like the two
Mm-hmm.
main people, and they talk so highly of working with Robin too. And they were about to start filming the sequel all these years later, and he passed unfortunately.
Oh, I
But
didn't know
Sally
that.
Field had like such beautiful things to say about what a just beautiful spirit and human Robin was. So
Yeah.
it's pretty cool. But
We
yeah, it's a
watched.
great one. I mean, Mrs. Doubtfire's classic. I mean, even Jumanji's fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember a lot of movies of his when I was a kid. Just talk about imagination and like him opening your imagination just with his voice and his
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
words and stuff. Yeah, that's a
Totally.
good choice. Robin Williams is a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just
I
like I really think of childhood, I think.
mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
good times when I think of him and his characters. So
Yeah.
yeah.
When I hadn't seen Mrs. Doubtfire in a long time, and I saw it around that time we were doing that podcast, and it definitely hit me different at this point in my life, because I my first marriage, we got divorced back in 2016, and I remember everything that Robin was going through, all those emotions of like, I can't be with my kids, and it was such a tough time for me. I remember we kind of did like what you normally do is every other weekend and then one night a week or whatever. I remember the first week that I was out of the house and I went back for that one night and I realized I like had maybe an hour before bedtime and then that was it. And then it was like now I have to go be without them forever. And I called their mom and I was like, I can't get by with this with just one night a week. And so we ended up that allowed us to kind of get in conversations about us splitting time evenly. So that movie was resonated a lot differently now than it did when I was a kid watching it because I'm kind of seeing it from the dad's point of view and realizing how tough it would be to be without your kids and trying to find
100%.
trying to find a way, any way possible to be with them as much as possible. And he had to grow through that process too. And I had to grow also in my character and in the way that I saw myself as a father. And so it was a really, really touching story and definitely relatable for anybody that's kind of gone through a tough divorce like that with kids. So it's tough all around. But trying to find a way to be with your kids and realizing they're the real deal. They're the reason that you exist. And so it kind of speaks to the way you've shared already about how you're at the point in your career where you want to make sure that you're there for your kids and then you can do some stuff to get the jobs where you can still be available to your kids. So that's pretty amazing.
Honestly, that's the priority. That's what I care about the most right now is to be at home and at a point too, it's like I have been doing it for a long time, and every show you work on, it can take up a lot of your time and energy, and they're not. At the end of the day, each one is not that different when you're on set.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm okay to take some time and focus on the family and go back to work for the things that really are worth doing.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
it's gonna pump out some good quality stuff. So
Yeah,
yeah,
that's awesome.
so it's all about priorities and all about balance. So I'm trying to keep that in check the most I can. So as I get older, I don't have any regrets when they're older, and I look back and I wasn't there or something like that as much as I should have been. So
Sure.
I'm trying to and I get a lot of advice from other stunt performers and coordinators that have been in the industry longer too, and they've gone through separations, divorces, or whatever. And I'm trying to take some tips so I can try and avoid some of these things too.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a tough job because it does take you away from home quite a bit when you're busy.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, it
Yeah.
sounds like you got it prioritized right now, so that's all that matters. So
Yeah,
just keep
trying to.
doing what you're doing. You get to still live out your dreams and still, share those moments with your family. So that's good.
Yeah, very lucky that, like, especially in, like, they don't film in a lot of places in the world. So we're lucky that, like, we're in just outside of Toronto here, and they film a lot there. So
Yeah.
very lucky that I'm able to do that and go home at night. Whereas, like, oftentimes some American teams will come in, if they're attached to a show already. Like, they'll come in here if they're filming here. Like for the boys, for example, like a team comes in for that, and they're traveling from LA and they're staying in Toronto for months. So
Yeah.
if you have a family, like, they're either having to come up here and go back and forth or whatever. But that's not an easy thing to do for months at a time. So very grateful.
It's awesome. Well, can't thank you enough for agreeing to be on this and have this conversation. This has been amazing.
Yeah.
You're
So much fun.
such a cool, down to earth guy, and just excited to kind of see where it goes from here. And I'm definitely gonna be looking for your name now and all the credits, man, because it's fun. Like I said, when I looked through that thing, I was like, dude, I've seen this guy so many times already. It's amazing. I want to.
Yeah.
We're buds. Very cool. Is there anything you want to promote or anything like that? Like anything, like if you want to promote socials or where people can connect
I'm
with
gonna
you or whatever?
say definitely go see Ready or Not 2 when it comes out. It's coming out is it early March? I
Yeah,
think it is.
believe so.
March 16th.
16th. Yeah.
Check that out for sure. What else did I do? Oh, there's another movie that's on digital on Paramount. That's I doubled for Jason Biggs on, if you remember him from
Oh,
American
yeah.
Pie.
Yeah.
Nice.
He directed his first movie called Untitled Home Invasion Romance, and you can buy or rent it on Paramount now. And so check that out. That's really fun. It's a fun comedy. And what else is happening? Definitely check out Ice Cream Man when it comes out. That's gonna be crazy
Can't wait.
too. And I think that'll be like spring, summer, something like that. So yeah,
Cool.
gonna be
That's
good.
awesome.
Nice. Maybe we'll have to get you on for an episode later on, like a prep episode, so you can like talk movies with us more because you seem to have the same taste. So it'd be cool to get you on. Maybe
Yeah.
we'll prep for fingers
Ice cream
crossed
man.
Thanksgiving too. I don't know.
There
Yep.
you go. That'd be awesome.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
All
Awesome,
right.
man.
Thanks,
Appreciate
guys.
it.
I really
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Thank you
night.
so much, Alex. Appreciate your time, bud.
All right.
See ya.